So, what do we got this week?
The list that we started, the Ig Nobel prizes.
You want to go back to that?
I don't know. You have anything else more Christmassy? Because I don't have anything Christmas related.
I have nothing Christmas.
Then back to the Ig Nobel prizes we go.
All right, here we go.
Now, the other question is, are we starting or are we doing the New Year words? Or is that for next episode?
Yeah, I originally had planned to do them this episode, but I don't have them ready, so next episode. It's not so much end of year as beginning of year, but that's...
Oh, it doesn't matter. Beginning of February, probably.
How far... Wait a sec.
Nah,
How far behind are we?
No, we're not that behind, but it's gonna be a close one, you know?
Oh, okay.
There's going to be quite a few episodes back to back. Let's put it that way. That's the Christmas present from the podcast is the release of, and that's the funny thing. Me saying this is not going to be heard until that happens. So
that's true.
This is the difficulty of recording something that is only heard at least 2 weeks later, or I guess a week later, at least a week later in the best of circumstances.
That's true. There's a little bit of a delay.
Because we don't have social media. We don't have any presence beyond this podcast. So there's no way for us to communicate with the outside world. It's actually kind of scary. If you think about it, it's kind of scary that if somebody speaks out from within the podcast, they're always behind, no matter what. They can never, reach out to somebody and say, hey, this happened, so maybe this causes the podcast to be delayed, or maybe this happened, so maybe we'll talk about this in the next podcast. Stay tuned. We can't do anything. We're just beholden to the constraints of the podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm sure our fan is upset. Listen, if this podcast just got bigger, that's what we need. We need a Christmas miracle where the podcast gets bigger, and then we can hire an editor and hire a social media manager.
Absolutely. We would just be killing it. Weekly episodes, potentially.
Yep. Be the next Joe Rogan.
That's the dream, honestly. I have a poster of Joe Rogan hanging beside me, and I just look at him some days, and I'm just like, man, Joe, what would it be like to be you? And then I put that thought out of my head because I'm kidding about having a poster. I hate hanging things on the wall. So here, let's talk about that while you look for your Ig Nobel prizes.
I did find them. Now I've moved on to Joe Rogan quotes.
Well, that's good, actually. We can have the top 10 Joe Rogan quotes of 2025. I haven't seen anything of his since I probably haven't watched anything this year at all. Because I used to watch some clips here and there of interesting interviews that he had. But I don't like hanging anything on my walls. And the main reason is, well, I mean, if you're renting, it's not always possible. But let's assume that you're allowed to. I hate putting stuff up that could cause dust to settle. So when you hang a painting or a picture or something, and the frame, it has a horizontal surface on the top, and it just settles on there. And I hate cleaning dust. So for me, anytime I can remove all horizontal surfaces is ideal. Honestly, I'm starting to think, is there a way to not have any horizontal surfaces in a residence?
Triangles everywhere.
Triangles everywhere. The floor, it's okay. I'm fine with vacuuming. I feel like a badass when I
there's
vacuum.
Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. That's okay for me because, you swing your hose around and it feels very manly. But when it comes to other surfaces where, maybe you don't want to lift the vacuum up there. Maybe you're not strong enough and you just don't want those surfaces. But yeah, triangles. It's the equivalent for dust. What it is for, where you'll see in big cities, they'll have spikes sticking out of benches. And those are to make it so that homeless people can't sleep on them. The triangle is the equivalent for dust. It's so that dust can't settle on it. And it's just something to think about. But it's fickle dust, or it's very resilient, because I have a heater hanging on my wall here in front of me.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that despite it having a dome shape, the top of it, it's a very thin dome. So you'd think it's close enough to a triangle. Dust still settles on it and doesn't fall off. It's fascinating.
Yeah, dust doesn't care. It'll go wherever.
I hate dust. I hate it so much.
Listen, a lot of dust is just old you, so...
Yeah, so I guess I hate my old me. I hate myself.
You hate your old self.
Yeah,
that's right.
Damn. Even the light switches. So, I know they're a bit different here, and I guess, even just whichever... What's the thing called? You have a light switch and you have around it the thing that kind of makes it look pretty, so it's not just on its own, a little switch on the wall. What is it? Faceplate. It's like a faceplate. So the faceplates, depending on how thick they are, some of them are pretty thick, right? Half a centimeter or something like that. They can also get dust on them. And I see that, like my wall sockets, because they have similar faceplates, they got that. Light switches, they got dust on them because it's horizontal. It's horizontal. And then don't get me started on the thing, what's it called? The thing that is between the floor and the wall. It's supposed to prevent you from damaging, I guess, the wall or some reason. It runs along the entire perimeter. I hate that thing. I hate it so much. Like if it was up to me, I would rip it all out and just beat the person who thought of it over the head with it. They're probably dead by now.
Because of the dust? Because
of the dust.
Cloth.
No,
you take a cloth and
see, at least the stuff on the floor you can use a vacuum most of the time, except for those places like in the corners where it's kind of like you can't really quite fit in the vacuum, and then you got to take it apart if you want to use just the hose on its own.
Yeah, but just use a dust. What are they called? A dust buster, or not a dust buster?
Like a Swiffer.
Those fluffy things.
I have those fluffy things, but the point is
right across.
It's never ending.
Yeah,
it's like a never-ending snowstorm. It's like, let's say you lived in a place where it snowed every day, and you have to shovel it every single day. This is what dust feels like.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it every single day. You have to do it like once a week. That's it. It takes 20 minutes.
I hate dusting.
Well, then you let it build up like snow.
I do. That's what I do. I dust very rarely, and you should see my computer because I'm usually afraid to touch it. Well, because you shouldn't touch it with a vacuum because of static electricity, static discharge. But even dusting it, I'm like, man, I don't want to touch it. I just no, it's enough. You can have your dust.
I don't touch my computer either unless it gets really bad, like that one time. But yeah,
dust is miserable. See, it's very Christmassy, this topic. Dust, snow. What's the difference?
It's true. What is the difference?
One is made by the residue of nature, and if you're religious, God. And the other one's made by the residue of you.
It's true.
See, it's nice when I'm able to come up with a topic just like that.
That is true. Well, let's talk about your hero, Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So let's hear some quotes.
From this year or just general?
It's just general. It doesn't even say where it's from. It just says they're Joe Rogan. I don't even know. They might not even be Joe Rogan quotes.
Yeah, I hope that they're real. Oh, that's a good game to try to play someday. You can guess whether it's a real Joe Rogan quote or not. I thought about doing this one time for like news headlines versus Onion headlines, but then I'm like, man, I feel like that's going to be too easy. Whereas Joe Rogan quotes, you don't know. Sometimes he said some nice things and sometimes he said some crazy things.
Let's see what kind of nice things and crazy things he said. By the way, Joe Rogan podcast, they did say I did read this week what the most popular podcasts of 2025 were. Joe Rogan was very much at the top.
Did they have different categories, or is this is a clear obscure scenario where he's won every single one? Okay. So the Joe Rogan podcast is to podcasts what Clear Obscure is to the Game Awards.
Yep, sure is.
He should get Ben Starr on his podcast.
Joe Rogan was at the top. Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. No idea what that is. Mel Robbins podcast. Call Her Daddy. This Past Weekend with Theo Vaughn. Huberman Lab. Crime Junkie. Modern Wisdom. On Purpose with Jay Shetty. And The Tucker Carlson Show were the top Spotify podcasts of 2025. So Joe Rogan taking top spot. So, it's good to go over some of the amazing things that he said. Let's start with this one. Never stay in a bad marriage and don't hang around with psycho coke fiends.
That was one quote. He didn't have two sentences
that was one quote.
Set separately. This is literally just the one thing he said.
It's one quote.
All in one. That's okay.
All in one.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So I feel like that's some good advice. Don't stay in a bad marriage and maybe don't hang around with psycho coke fiends. Imagine
you're married to a psycho coke fiend and then you're defying both of his commandments there.
How about this one? This one's very inclusive. This is a very inclusive quote from Joe Rogan. So, I don't care if you're gay, black, Chinese, straight. That means nothing to me. It's all an illusion.
Mm-hmm. So he doesn't see color, race.
Well, I think he sees it. He just chalks it up to illusion. He thinks it's a magic trick. He thinks gay and black people and Chinese people and even straight people are magic tricks.
Yeah, it's like God just
David Blaine.
God's just playing David Blaine. He's just trying to make people look different, just as an illusion. Everybody is actually just a gray mannequin. I think so. I think everybody's just a gray mannequin, faceless, emotionless, expressionless, but everything that we see of each other is an illusion. I wholeheartedly agree.
All right. Well, that's good. You and Joe Rogan share some
We're on the same wavelength.
some stuff.
That's right. Just two gray mannequins in a pod.
Okay, how about this one? If you can lie, you can act. And if you can lie to crazy girlfriends, you can act under pressure.
Wow. That's solid advice. So really, if you're a good liar, you should try to become an actor.
And if you want to become a really good actor, be able to act under pressure, get a crazy girlfriend.
Yeah, if you want to go on Broadway, you gotta have a string of crazy girlfriends to practice lying.
All the best actors do.
Now, I wonder if that's correlated. Like, does that correlate? Do you think that the best performers, the best actors, the best Broadway performers, have they learned from their relationships, and then that's why they're the best?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Who do you think is the best actor nowadays, I guess? Or just maybe generally?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because I don't know actors that well either. I don't really know how to gauge whether someone is a good actor. It's not really just about box office. It's about
I don't think there's any such thing as best actor. That's not a...
What do you mean? Isn't that an Oscar?
Yeah, well, fuck that. How do you say you're best? Like, how do you be the best actor of all time? Like, that's such a subjective thing. But with the way things move, like, you can't have I mean, I guess you could say, oh, who's your favorite actor? But I don't think you can say, like,
who's objectively the best actor.
Who's the best actor? Like, that's, I don't know.
Best liar. Maybe let's just make an if and only if there. If you're the best liar if and only if you're the best actor.
Tom Holland.
Well, look at that. Because he's been lying about that frog in his mouth.
The egg in his mouth, yeah.
Frog or egg, one of the two. We don't know. Because he's so good at lying.
But also, he's like 40 years old and he keeps convincing people he's like 20.
Because can you blame him? He looks 20. He's got the right gray mannequin.
He's lying about his age. How old actually is he? He's only 29.
He's only 29?
I thought he was way older, to be honest with you.
Because he was an alcoholic. Did you know he was an alcoholic?
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
No, I don't believe that either. He lied about that too.
I don't know. He looks like an alcoholic, former alcoholic. You can tell by the eyes if somebody's been a former alcoholic. They're glazed over from years and years of meetings.
What else we got here? These aren't very good quotes. None of these are good.
I think the context matters as well. Like he'll ask the guest, what is that? The stereotype is that what every guest he would get on his podcast, he would ask them, so have you tried DMT? Every single one, without fail.
Oh.
Which is like a hallucinogen. So it's interesting because he's probably moved on from that, I guess.
Oh, here's a good one. If you ever start taking things too seriously, just remember that we're talking monkeys on an organic spaceship flying through the universe.
That's a good quote, actually. That's words to live by, in fact, because it is true. Sometimes you got to remember that things you think are serious aren't serious in the grand scheme of things.
Nah, I don't know if I subscribe to that.
It depends on the circumstance, of course.
Well, how you feel about things is subjective. So there's always people that there's so many people out there that'll be like, "Oh, you think you're having it?" You'd be like, "Oh, my girlfriend left me," and somebody will say, "Well, if you think that's bad, just think about all the starving children in Africa." No,
I hate when people do that. I'm saying it differently, though. I'm saying, like, generally speaking, if you zoom out, I'm not comparing to other people's problems because that is ridiculous. But if you zoom out for everybody, it does help to put things into perspective sometimes.
I don't know.
Because you can compare to your other problems. Don't compare to other people's problems, but compare to your other problems. So, like, let's say, I don't know, sometimes I'll have a really frustrating day, like where, let's say I'm cooking something and I drop part of it on the floor. I'll be pissed off, but it's silly to be pissed off about that. There'll be days where I do that and I'm not, but for some reason there'll be days where I do get angry. But then for those situations, you got to step back and think, like, is it really worth getting angry about that? Because you're expending more energy doing that and making your attitude worse for something so silly.
That is true. I do think that's much different than what you said, though. So.
Okay, well, fair enough. If you adjust the quote a little bit.
Yeah, it needs a little bit of editing to get there. That's more, I think what you said was more if Joe Rogan said, "Don't cry over a spilt line of Coke."
Yes, that's a really good one. I can imagine him saying that. We should use that. We should tell him that should be his motto. But the thing is, like the quotes have to be provocative. People have to be offended by them or inspired by them. And if you don't have that, then they're not going to make one of those lists. So that's why it's there. But if you do temper it a little bit, like we just said, it's still worth thinking about. It's like the times where I would look at, when I was younger, there would be these YouTube videos or just, I guess, animations showing how here we have the Earth, here's the sun, look how big it is. And then, oh, well, apparently the sun's tiny compared to this other star. And then here yet we have another star that's even bigger than that one. So in the grand scheme of things, the Earth is just this tiny little speck of dust against the backdrop of this gigantic universe. Now, again, it's the same principle that, well, okay, my problems are still big to me, so it doesn't matter how small the Earth is. But still, it helps sometimes to think about that, even just to marvel at the grandiosity of the universe.
Did you ever hear the Pete Holmes bit about the size of the universe?
Probably not. What about it?
I don't know. It was very funny. It always makes me think of that when people talk about...
Well, we can link it.
That's fine. I'm going to play it.
Oh, you're going to play it? Oh, wow. We're going to get sued by Pete Holmes because he's one of our loyal listeners, and now he's being betrayed.
That might be true, but that's okay. We're advertising him.
He needs the help. He's not really a well-known comedian.
It's true. So here we go. I'm going to play this.
You're on a planet right now. You think you're in America? Zoom out. You're on a space rock floating in nothingness, infinite nothingness, and the infinite nothingness is expanding. That means endlessness is getting bigger. That makes no fucking sense. I'm made of molecules, you're made of molecules, the air between us, it's all made of molecules. That makes no fucking sense. These molecules know they're molecules. These molecules are like, I'm Pete. That doesn't make any sense. This stool is made of molecules, the same molecules in my hand. In fact, some of the molecules in this stool went into me while I've been talking, and some that were me have gone into this stool. And you know, when I knock these molecules into these molecules, when we ask science, why don't they go through each other? You know what the answer is? We don't know. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's what I always think about when I hear about the infinite. I mean, the second part kind of gets off tangent, but...
Well, no, it's still... It's more of a micro level instead of a macro level at that point.
Yeah.
It's still valid to say that, you know what, we're just a bunch of molecules stuck together that are sentient. Every 7 years or whatever it is, all those molecules have been replaced.
But, yeah, it's, small things, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Everything's relative to you. Anyways, let's talk about this one. This is good advice about the goodness of having a girlfriend. Because I have a girlfriend, I try and take the straight and narrow path, which is good because it prevents VD.
I mean, really solid advice, I guess, right? You're less likely to have some sort of venereal disease if you stick to one partner.
So there you go. Stick to one partner and you won't get VD. That's quality Joe Rogan.
He's just helping out the youth. This is basically sex ed with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that podcast might have been. Yeah.
They should probably take that clip. Whatever the context was, doesn't matter. Take that clip and show it in sex ed classes in high schools everywhere. Or elementary schools. How young you want to go doesn't matter. Joe Rogan is family friendly. He's fun for the whole family.
You know what I will say about Joe Rogan? Like, I hear a lot of people calling Joe Rogan an idiot and right-wing crazy and all that kind of stuff. And I've never watched a full Joe Rogan episode. I don't plan to. But the stuff I do see from him, the stuff I see posted and kind of all that stuff, maybe it's in the minority or whatever. A lot of it is crazy stuff. A lot of it is just him trying to understand stuff. Like, I never felt, from what I watch in Joe Rogan, to his credit, I never feel like what I watch on the Joe Rogan podcast, the clips I watch, that he comes off as some crazy right-wing guy that I always hear people calling him. He gets a lot of stuff wrong. He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but it's not because he's leaning a certain way and is intentionally dense like a lot of right-wingers are. It's just because he doesn't understand, but he'll bring somebody on and he'll try to understand. Like, one of the podcasts I remember maybe seeing the most of is an interview he did with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And, he's saying a lot of stupid shit, but he's sitting there accepting Tyson's advice or his explanations on things. So I always feel like he's not what people like. He'll bring, he brings athletes on and, sometimes they just talk whatever, he brings people on that are not great people, but or aren't conducive to intelligent conversation. But he brings people on that are conducive to intelligent conversation as well. And he stays open-minded. He stays trying to understand things, and he's got his own weird spin on things. I mean, I'm sure half his brain is rotted from the coke he's been doing the last 30 years, but he tries. He's not positioning himself the way Tucker Carlson is or any of those people. At the end of the day, it's probably not a bad podcast to listen to if you want something that's more fun and more varied in terms of a sit down. Not exactly like a Conan O'Brien podcast or a Craig Ferguson podcast, but way better than a Fox News pundit podcast. So I think he's not as bad as people say he is. And I know he's right wing. It's whatever. There's going to be right wing people, but there are reasonable right wing people out there, and I think he's a reasonable right wing person.
Well, there we go.
I don't think he's too much into things. That's the thing. Like, people crucify him for having Elon Musk on or having Donald Trump on or things like that. But I don't think he's not doing it for any more reason than he just knows that, or his team will know that it pulls numbers. Like, I don't think he cares. Like, if it didn't happen, I don't think he'd care.
The best point that you made is that, yeah, he is open-minded. And even more than that is that he does ask questions. We may think that some of the stuff he's asking or saying is stupid, but at the same time, he's trying to appeal to a lot of people. And maybe for you, some of those things he says are stupid or the questions he asks are unnecessary. But not everybody knows the answers, or not everybody is open-minded enough to kind of accept things as they are. So maybe if he puts his own spin on it that people have grown accustomed to, then he'll be able to sway them to accept whatever the other person is saying. Sometimes the interviewer has to play dumb to engage the conversation, or even more importantly, to engage the audience of that conversation.
Mind you, I don't think he's playing dumb. I think he is dumb. But I think he's not dumb. He's not intentionally dense. He's dumb because he is dumb. But he's a martial artist and a fighter. Like, that's his. Not that those are necessarily dumb people, but he's not a.
Well, he's been hit in the head enough that it probably has caused some damage. That does happen.
Yeah, but he's not an academic, is what I'm saying. But he's willing to
He's also not appealing to
genuinely
just academics. That's the whole point, that he's able to appeal to everybody because he doesn't have that hoity-toity attitude about him. That's what I like about him, because I hate people who are academics who are just spouting whatever they spout. I like when somebody's speaking in a down-to-earth way, even if it's not always the most intelligent thing to say.
And he's not somebody who will, he'll say a lot of stupid shit, but he doesn't double down on it if he's with an expert and the expert corrects him. I don't know how it is on left wing. I'm sure left wing have their own. But, you get a lot of people who will show up on a Fox News podcast or something and fight with the person, and they'll fight for 10 minutes, and just the interviewer will keep doubling down on absolutely insane takes, and it just keeps going back and forth and back and forth. And, Joe Rogan will just sit there and he'll actually listen. He'll try to understand it. And, whether he does or not is another story. But he tries to understand it, and he tries to make sense of it, and he tries to correct himself. And I think I've even seen times where, the person he's interviewing does get through to him. Honestly, he's not a bad podcast. I think he gets an unfair rap, essentially. He gets good guests, and he gets good stuff out of them. There's been quite a few that you would never expect he would have on. You never would expect would be a good conversation, but they can be. He's good in my book. But then again, when we started this podcast, I had Elon Musk labeled as what did I have him labeled as?
Chaotic
neutral good or something like that. Chaotic good. That's right. That didn't take very many years to.
Well, for what it's worth, I mean, because Joe Rogan used to be more left wing, so the fact that you're still on his side now means he's not really going to go anywhere too far off the spectrum. But look at this. This is a wonderful advertisement of Joe Rogan's podcast. Up-and-coming podcaster Joe Rogan. Everybody go check him out. He needs all the listeners he can get, and I think we can provide.
Yeah, go check him out. Look at it. We didn't even have to go into the Ig Nobel Prize winners.
He should get an Ig Nobel Prize.
Yeah, maybe he's on here.
Ig Nobel Peace Prize.
Yep, bringing the people together. Well, on that note, let's keep things moving along, and let's talk about the movie we watched.
Violent Night from 2022.
David Harbour.
With David Harbour, indeed.
David Harbour. I actually don't think I seen this movie. I think I got it confused with another one. This was not really a horror movie. in any way, shape, or form. It was much more.
Why did you think it would be?
I don't know. It just kind of sounded like it, and the picture was kind of sort of like that. But again, I've also seen horror movies where Santa kills everybody, so kind of seemed like that's the way it was going. And David Harbour's from Stranger Things, which is I don't know. I think it's kind of like I think that's kind of like a horror from what I've seen of it.
Yeah, probably more horror than other genres.
But nope, this is much more of a Die Hard movie.
Yeah, and you know what I liked about it? Well, one of the things I really liked was they actually, so the little girl, the one that is like the little girl that communicates with Santa throughout the ordeal. Because what happens is that there's this very wealthy family, and the wife and the husband, or I guess they're separated at the time, but they and their daughter, they go to this mansion where the other parts of the family come together for Christmas, but they end up getting taken hostage by people who want to take the money that's in the vault. And so during this time, the little girl communicates with Santa, and we can talk about what actually unravels. But the thing is, the little girl watched Home Alone before that, and part of the
none
movie,
of that was in Home Alone.
No. But part of the movie is her setting up the booby traps, and I really like the callback to that because some of them were really well, they were executed pretty well. They're like, okay, if Kevin McAllister did this, what would really happen? And they kind of showed what would really happen because they were pretty tame in the Home Alone movies for, the repercussions. But man, some of the stuff he did, it would have resulted in murder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Die Hard very much. And that was one of the things I was disappointed about. So I thought when I first started watching this movie that he would be invincible, basically. I was really hoping that Santa would just be kicking ass. Like, I know the movie would have been dumber as a result, but man, it would be sweet to see him just be unstoppable. I thought it would be more. John
let's
Wick
be honest, though. At the end of the movie, he was unstoppable. Like
he was, and
he was running through people that
the pivot was
their entire team got killed by.
A bit jarring, I thought. So, like the fact that he was struggling at the beginning, he was kind of like even suturing. Is that the word? Suturing his wound at one point. Like it's weird because then he ends up, and that was just from one guy that he got so beat up, and then he takes out the professional team that was like coordinated team that was coming up on him, and he does it all with a hammer.
That's what he needed, though. They set that up very nicely. He had his hammer, and honestly, I thought the way they were going when he was telling that story was they were going to say Santa Claus was Thor, and I was like, this is going to get kind of wild, but it wasn't. He's just a Viking who killed a lot of people with a hammer back in the day. And then became Santa Claus.
And the blood that ran like that's how he painted his clothing. I like to think that that's how he got a red suit, is because of all the blood that stained the land.
Yeah, maybe.
And the white was the snow.
I don't think they really explained. Did they really explain how? Like they explained he was a Viking and all that, but they didn't explain how he became Santa.
He doesn't even know. Like a lot of times they'll talk about the Christmas magic, and he just says like, "I have no idea how it works."
Yeah,
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
There's a really good cop out. It's just him just saying, "You know what? I don't know how it works. So why should you?"
I think that's kind of fair, though, but I would like to know how he went from...
This should be a prequel.
Santa Claus a Viking, a murderous Viking to Santa Claus.
But they could do a prequel if they ever chose to.
They could, and it was pretty well received, so I think there's maybe interest there. But I don't know, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I thought...
it was.
I thought it was humorous in the right ways. We talked last time about, what my level of humor is, and I thought this movie stayed well within it.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't raunchy or anything, because I know you don't like that, but it was nothing like that. It was just pure violence.
Yep, a lot of violence. There was a lot of violence, especially in the second half. The first half wasn't that violent.
Yeah, the second half was pretty brutal.
Yeah, they toned it up. When Santa was ready to go, they toned it up.
The stakes were higher, though, right? Because we got the professional team that came by a snowmobile, and at that point, Santa had to be serious,
That is true. Yeah, he toned it up. And it got pretty brutal. And the stuff with the girl was pretty brutal. And I thought his conversation with the girl was touching. So I think they did a good job in kind of adding a little bit of a emotion to it.
It was more heartfelt than I expected. It was actually like, it had more to do with Christmas than a lot of the other movies we've seen.
That's actually true, yeah. Yeah, this incredibly violent, gory movie.
It had more of a Christmas message, actually. Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, it had the emotion. That's fine. But the fact that it had the message of Christmas really embedded throughout all the violence is really impressive. They did a good job. It's kind of like Santa Claus, the Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen, but like if Tim Allen was just beating the crap out of people and murdering them.
Yeah, no, it was really good. And the girls' booby traps were very creative, although I think a lot of it was overdone. Like, I like the stare thing with the nails.
That was very clever, actually.
I didn't expect that. That was unbelievable. When he's like, oh, the thing about booby traps is you're not supposed to let them, know it's a booby trap, and he still stepped on the broken step, and then he went right through the nail right through the jaw. And you know what? I think it was good because I think a lot of movies would have been like that, incapacitated the guy.
But why would it?
But they did a good...
It's just a piercing.
Yeah, exactly. Why would it? Yeah, just went right through his jaw. And then even when he landed on them on the back, he was pulling him out or whatever.
Yeah, that would have hurt. That would have been awful.
That would have hurt, but it wouldn't have killed you. So I think, again, a lot of movies... It might have paralyzed you depending on where it was. But I think a lot of movies would have been like, oh, that was the end of him. But they kept going with it. And then when... the actual kill shot was so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why he was looking at that nail so intently.
Why do you look at a nail intently, but also above your head? Like, why are you like lifting it up to look at it above your head? Like, he deserved it. He deserved it. And then when she got stuck on the glue trap, right? And she fell backwards.
What kind of glue was that like affected you that badly and was so much of it?
That was crazy. But then she was down on the ground, right? I'm like, you can't even move your feet. And somehow she's like moving her arms and all that. Your legs are like way stronger than your arms, right?
Well, she lifts, She skips leg day, but she
whatever.
lifts.
But then she like shoots herself right up. It was like one core. Very quick. It was one quick, smooth motion. And then finally when the little girl was doing the slingshot of things and she does the dumbbell, I'm like, that slingshot's not a little bit crazy. Dumbbell.
But I mean, come on, let's be honest. A lot of the other stuff was... She had a gun. Like, the lady could have just shot her from before the bowling balls started
there was
coming.
some suspension of disbelief there. Even when they were in the... even at the beginning when they took over the house, they were up against two... When the guards were bringing the grandma to the safe room and they got cut off. And one of the guards told the other guard... They had guns. And one of the guards told the other guard, go get him. And he went hand to hand with the guy. They ended up both going hand to hand with the guy. And I'm like, why are you doing this? You have guns and people are shooting. Like, why are you...
It's mook chivalry. That's what it is. It's the trope. They love doing this in these action movies.
Yeah, go hand to hand when you have a ballistic weapon. But I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, there were a few points there where things were... You had to suspend your disbelief of what the actual situation would be like. But it worked out for the better.
I mean, all in all, we got a good message. Yeah, we got a good message. And people did come together in the end. Even because, the rich part of the family hates the wife of the son who's in the family, but they came together in the end. They murdered the guy who was holding them individually hostage while everybody else was outside. So they did a good job, Throwing the alcohol into the fireplace to light up his ass a little bit so that he'd be distracted. It was a good job. Really good job.
And when Santa pulled the guy through the chimney, I thought that was crazy.
I don't understand how that works. I guess it's because he was horizontal and he wouldn't fit through the chimney. And then normally if Santa goes through it, he's got to be vertical. What happens if Santa
Santa has the magic. That's the thing. Like I don't think a normal person can just
fit through the chimney,
get pulled through the chimney. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was because he was horizontal.
I mean, that's probably part of it.
Because otherwise, why would he even pull anything through then? Why would he just not be crushed?
I mean, he kind of
the way he was pulled through, it felt like the head was gone and the legs were gone.
Yeah, so that probably makes sense in how it happened. I think the reason Santa didn't is he's got his magic, right?
Yeah,
so
he's got his nose candy magic.
Yeah, his nose candy magic that didn't work, which is really how he ended up in that situation.
Well, in a way, it's a good thing that it didn't work.
Hey, he got his Christmas oomph back, so
he's got his Christmas mojo back.
That's the important part. But no, overall, I thought it was a very, very good movie. Where do you rank this on your King of the Hill?
Well, King of the Hill still goes to Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, but I mean, it's up there. This is one of the better ones.
Yeah, this was one of the better ones. I agree.
It's just one of those movies that, like, I probably wouldn't watch it every Christmas. It's no Die Hard, But
you watch Die Hard every Christmas?
I used to, actually. That wasn't a tradition for too long, but I did used to. But no, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I agree. It's not as
heartwarming.
It's not my King of the Hill.
As as a Christmas movie should be, probably because of all the violence.
Would you watch the
Last Christmas, the one before?
Yeah.
No, I would watch The Perfect Holiday. Remember, right? With the one before that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The
one
black
with,
version of Last Christmas.
Eddie Murphy's.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's.
Yeah, because
brother.
I do think that's a good Christmas movie. I don't know what to tell you, but I thought that was and it's again fun for the whole family, so you don't even have to worry about that. I guess as movies though, it's probably a better movie. Like I guess it's up my alley more, but still, sometimes you gotta make a compromise in the meaning of Christmas or Jesus, I guess.
Well, we got one more for the holidays.
Well, what about you? What about you?
Oh yeah, me. That's right. Yeah, no, this isn't my not my King of the Hill. Harder They Fall, still at the top. I think this is my favorite holiday movie we watched.
Wow. Okay, that's good. I mean, the competition was kind of slim for you, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it hasn't been.
I think the only thing that might top this is if we actually pull Santa Claus.
I do like Santa Claus. I do like that movie. But all right.
Fingers
well,
crossed.
let's see
I
what
guess
we
it's
got.
you. I guess is this time. So
It's my turn. Yep. Last holiday
Come on,
movie of the year.
Cross your fingers, everybody, and your
Let's
toes.
get a really good one. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You know what? This is actually not a bad movie. The Polar Express with Tom Hanks.
Oh, damn! The Uncanny Valley movie.
2004.
I have seen it before, but I haven't seen it
Have you?
since like long ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I've seen it, it's a long time ago. I remember seeing like maybe clips or whatnot, and maybe those are just parts of my thing that I remember. But I don't know if I've seen the whole thing.
But it'll be nice to see Tom Hanks as a 3D caricature of himself.
Yeah, it's a 3D animated movie, and this is a fun for the whole family movie.
Well, that depends.
Well, it's based on a children's book, so I would hope that it's...
I don't
hope that
know.
it's,
Polar Express might be more menacing than you think. And that's the last one of the holiday movies, eh?
That is it, because now, by the time we watch this, it'll be mid-January.
So we only got 4.
Well, we only do a podcast every other week. We started in November, so...
But in a way, it's kind of sad that yet again we didn't pull any of your favorites, your Christmas favorites.
That's okay. Like you said, the purpose of this is not to pull our favorites. It's to pull something different. I hope Charlie Brown Christmas was 2 away. Charlie Brown's now owned by Sony.
What does that mean?
I have no idea what that means, but it's a fun fact.
Are they going to make a gritty noir version of it? Charlie Brown?
Maybe.
Charlie Noir, they're going to call it.
I guess Charlie Brown's very popular in Japan for some reason.
I don't think I've ever actually seen Charlie Brown. Like, I've never seen any.
No?
No, I've just seen parodies and, like, I guess little clips here and there, but overall, never actually sat down and watched it.
It's worth watching the Christmas one. I don't think it's very long.
Because what was it originally?
A comic.
But then, was it adapted into a cartoon, or was it a series of movies?
I don't think it was ever a weekly TV show, was
So
it?
I guess just a series of movies.
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. Animation. Oh, there was a series. Peanuts and... Yeah, so they did specials. Oh, there was something with the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show. This is America, Charlie Brown.
This is America.
That went for 8 episodes. Series of events in American history featuring characters from Charlie Brown. It never lasted long. Growing up, there wasn't anything around the time I would have been growing up, so I definitely didn't watch anything. But
Depicted as a lovable loser, Charlie Brown is one of the great American archetypes. I guess it was probably because I had other things that I would watch or mesh with. You know, like when I was younger, I would watch Arthur. I loved Arthur.
yeah,
And I guess maybe Charlie Brown would have been because Charlie Brown was older, right? Like he's been around for way longer. So unless you were somehow enticed on watching it, you would have picked.
well, that's the
potentially
thing.
something
Like
else.
it wasn't really something that, unless you had parents or something that would put you down in front of it, it wasn't something that was really actively on when we were kids. So like Arthur was.
Because
Like
Arthur
Charlie
was a
Brown
long-running
Christmas
show as well, so that was the other difference.
Like Charlie Brown Christmas is from 1965. I watched Charlie Brown Christmas a lot, but that's probably because I had, adults in my life who were like, yeah, we're going to watch this.
It's probably like those, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie.
Yeah, or something that would come on during,
Frosty
during
the
those,
Snowman.
Yeah, those kids' movie days. But Charlie Brown Christmas is a good watch. It's only 30 minutes, so it's not a long thing at all.
You would have loved to pull that because it would have been short.
30-minute, yeah. Give me 30 minutes. Give me, how long is Polar Express? I didn't even look. 100 minutes. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's animated, so it can't be too long, otherwise it's too expensive.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Violent Night was almost 2 hours, so that was
They managed to do a lot before daybreak.
true. You know, you can get a lot, and he still, he has to go do his presents.
Exactly. So he's got to like rush now, and no more drinking. The beginning was pretty disgusting, where he vomits on the lady from the sled.
He vomits on the lady. Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah. All right. Well, since I don't have words of the year, why don't you tell us what your word of the fortnight is?
All right. Well, I got two. Well, here they are. The first word is rapt. R-A-P-T. It's an adjective, and it means showing complete delight or interest. My example, our audience listens to us with rapt attention. And then my second word is moot, but moot as a verb, M-O-O-T, to bring up for discussion. We moot many topics on this podcast. So I've never heard moot in that context. I've never heard it as a verb. Now, can you guess where both of these words come from?
We know it's not Genshin.
Why?
Well, you said you were done with the Genshin words.
Yeah, well,
Unless
guess
they came
what?
up this week. Did they come up this week?
They came right back in full swing in the last 2 weeks. Or maybe the last 3 weeks, and I just had one in the back of my mind. But yeah, both from Genshin Impact, because, why not exercise my mind some more, Genshin? Show me that I'm an idiot when it comes to vocabulary. But I like those words because they're short. Anytime it's a short word, it's really baffling to me because you think like, okay, I don't know the long words. But man, when those short words come up, 4 letters or less, that's crazy.
Well, there you go. 2 words this week to end the year. That's pretty good. All from Genshin. Genshin's the game that keeps on giving. Those Chinese people have a better grasp on the English language than we do.
I think so.
Think about that.
I never doubted that for one moment.
And to end things on a note, it's time to judge Pokemon cries for this nice short episode of Pokemon, or this short episode of Welcome World Wide Web Podcast.
Can you imagine a podcast dedicated to Pokemon cries? Like literally every
Just
episode
Pokemon
is just
cries.
talking about Pokemon cries, given that there's so many.
You take one cry, an episode, or maybe 2, and you listen to the sound, and then you analyze the Pokemon. You could do it. There definitely has to be a podcast out there that just talks about Pokemon designs.
And if not, we got to make it happen. I guess that's the next step, right? Again, if we had the opportunity, if we had the listeners to make this a success so that we could hire people, then we'd be able to just go ahead and do whatever the hell we want on the side.
We just have a million podcasts going all about different stuff.
Yeah, some people do that, but not Joe Rogan. So we gotta look towards Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan is his own class of podcaster. Do 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 do. Anyways, we are judging Pokemon cries of legendary Pokemon we are finding out what the Pokemon cries of legendary Pokemon that we judged last season are. We didn't know what they were. We were voting. We were doing a tournament of things specifically devoted to those cries and only those cries. And this season, we need to know what they are. So, anyways, we're on round 34, which was between 16 and 80. We already know what 80 was. 80 was the winner, but it belonged to, well, we can listen to it real quick. That was the winner, and it belonged to Zekrom, which was one of the black and white Pokemon. And so 16 is the one we haven't listened to, and he lost. That was the loser, and it belonged to Necrozma.
Damn, this one actually looks pretty cool.
That sounds like a pretty powerful Pokemon. So he's a psychic type who looks very
Jaggedy.
evil.
Very jaggedy.
Yeah, he is very jaggedy. I don't even know how you would really describe him. Fully black and metal-esque, I guess, with huge claws, not huge arms. He's got kind of stick arms, but huge hands, claw hands, and very spiky. And he's got multicolored teeth.
Are those teeth or eyes? Where are his eyes then?
Okay, hold on. Let me see a different picture. I need to see a different picture.
He's got other forms, and I feel like those are eyes. And then his Ultra Necrozma completely changes it up and makes him like really bright yellow / just white. Oh, look, you got concept art. So if you read Japanese, you can probably...
Which I do fluently.
No, it's a brain prism. It's his brain.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Brain prism. Okay, that's the only one. I was gonna say it's the only thing there that's in English. There's a couple. No, there's a couple things in English there.
You can't translate brain prism to Japanese. They don't have a word for either of those two things.
Okay, so it's his brain prism. So he's got a multicolored brain prism. Good for him.
Everybody has one of those, brain prisms.
Yeah, exactly. And he does have, he's got a dusk mane form, which is kind of like a lion, a dawn wings form, which is like a
hummingbird.
No, the dawn wings form looks like another Pokemon.
Oh, it does look like that one. The one from
Lunala?
Yeah,
Is it Lunala?
Because it's sun and moon, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because this form is, they're fusion forms. Okay, so that's why, because the Duskmane form is when he fuses with Solgaleo, who's the title Pokemon, or is the title Pokemon for Pokemon Sun. The Dawnwings form is when he fuses with Lunala, who's the title Pokemon of Moon. And Ultra is just an Ultra Evolution. But he's the game mascot of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah, I don't know. I prefer his original form.
Yeah, his original form is quite
The other ones are
nice,
just kind of like the usual tacked on crap that Game Freak likes to do.
But the good news about this Pokemon is you can actually get him in the game because he's a title Pokemon. That's the most surprising thing. Yeah.
Not since like decades have Game Freak been so welcoming.
Yeah, very generous of them. Thank you, Game Freak. All right, let's move on to 35. It was between 17 and 81. We heard 81. 81 was a winner. This was 81.
Oh, yes, the horse that's not actually a horse.
That one belonged to Wo-Xian.
Yeah, it's a snail instead.
The only legendary on my Scarlet and Violet team. And it it beat this one, 17.
Wow, pretty easy to beat that.
Yeah, it's got a weak-ass roar. And that belonged to Meltan.
Oh, that's right. It's this baby-looking legendary Pokemon.
A baby with a nut on its, not that kind of nut, but...
A hex nut.
Yeah, hex nut. Yeah,
that's what it's called. It's the hex nut Pokemon.
Oh, there you go. All right, that works then.
And it's waving. It's got a cute little red tail. I don't know what it is. Like a ribbon, basically.
And like a ditto body. It's got like a ditto body.
Oh, look, I love it. If you scroll down to the biology on Bulbapedia, the second image is Meltan without its head. So it can lose its head, apparently. That's great.
Yeah. And it is one of the few legendaries that do evolve. It evolves into Melmetal.
Melmetal. What a great name.
This is kind of a bastard Pokemon because it's first debuted in Pokemon Go. So very weird for it to do that. And its core appearance in the main game was Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which were Gen 1 remakes. However that works. And he was only through an event in China, so he wasn't even available.
In China?
Yep.
Not even like anywhere else?
Yeah, it says mainline China. Chinese release commemoration.
So even Japan didn't get this Pokemon?
Yep. If you wanted to get him in any other one, you needed to transfer him from Pokemon Go. And his first obtainable appearance is in Pokemon Legends ZA, the newest Pokemon game, the one that just came out in October, but the DLC for that just came out last week, 2 weeks ago.
Do you think that a legendary Pokemon should be unique in the world?
You mean like
should only one exist?
One of them?
Well, yeah, should only one exist in the universe?
Yes.
So why are there 5 Meltans in this picture from the Pokemon series?
Because it's Pokemon. I told you it's Pokemon Go. Oh, it's from this is from the
cartoon, the anime.
Okay, so here's the weird thing is that the Melmetal, so it takes all 5 of them to evolve into the Melmetal.
Oh, okay. So we got one of those Pokemon who's legendary, quote unquote, but isn't really.
There's nothing about him that would really point to him being legendary. That's kind of the thing. It's a weird distinction. Like he's not.
Why was he in the list then? It's a mythical.
I guess he's considered.
Pokemon, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Steel type mythical
ones in there.
Well, that was the condition, right? I believe we decided on everything but Ultra Beasts.
Yeah, mythicals were that's right. Mythical are like pseudo legendaries. Yeah.
No, but we did that because some of them were actually genuine. Like Mew is a mythical, and Deoxys is a mythical. Celebi is a mythical. Jirachi is a mythical. Like a lot of the ones that you would expect to be. Arceus, for God's sake, is a mythical. But then you got it alongside Meltan and Melmetal.
Yeah, I'm not...
and a few other...
It even says in its description, it is known to live in groups until the day where one strong Meltan absorbs the rest of the group to evolve. But yeah, it doesn't have any control. Like it's not a legend. I think it's more legendary in the sense that just because it's like a special Pokemon in the game world, which is not really a good condition for being a legendary, I don't think, because the legendaries usually have some sort of link to the beginning of the world or, the creation of some aspect of it. And it doesn't say that this is.
I guess it's a lead up to a legendary, and that's why it counts it as being on our list.
Well, I guess that's the question. Is Melmetal even technically, like, what's his claim to fame?
I guess you're right, because there might be more, right?
Yeah, like if he doesn't have a claim to fame either, then it's just...
Then their categorization is awful. Because don't put Mew on the same page then.
I guess he was worshipped to be able to create metal from nothing. So I guess maybe that's the claim to fame.
Yeah, but apparently you need to feed...
He's the god of metal.
You need to feed Meltans metal for them to survive. So how does that work?
Yeah, it's circular, I guess.
Chicken and egg problem, exactly. I think. Melmetal and Meltan.
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but that's the answer we're being given here.
I bet we're going to get pushback on our choice to say that this is not, it shouldn't be considered a legendary. It's awful, blah, blah, blah.
This was not our choice. We took the Game Freak Pokemon Company classifications of...
No. I just mean pushback on the fact that I personally think it shouldn't be a legendary. But
I see.
I know
okay.
some of our avid listeners are really big onto some of these Pokemon. And I'm wondering if this is one of those, because it's cute, Meltan is all, it's adorable. It's like, it can lose its head and still survive.
Okay, let's do another one since we're only doing one-offs here. 36 was between 8 and 57. 8 was the winner, which actually we haven't heard. 57 we have heard, and it was the loser, and it was this. That was 57. That was Virizion, the deer weird Pokemon. And it lost to number 8, which is this guy.
Oh, yeah, it was the deer in high heels, I guess, right? Virizion.
That's right. Yeah. And number 8 is the winner of this one, the one we haven't heard yet, is Articuno. There you go. A nice classic legendary.
Let's play that sound again. That's beautiful. That really sounds like the 90s.
I still haven't found Zapdos yet, but I will say I've seen some other like non-legendary Pokemon that were from Gen 1, and their sounds do sound still very basic, like maybe not like that quality level, but still very basic. So I'm not holding my breath for Zapdos at this point.
Okay, well, I think that's on par.
I guess makes sense, but it's
with Game Freak. Would you really expect more?
No, no, you're right. I mean, I guess I'm just thankful they didn't just take the pixelated, the old Game Boy Pokemon and shove them into the game. You just have this 3D world, and then all of a sudden you run into a Gen 1 Pokemon and it's 2D, and
they probably just applied a filter on it. Just an audio filter to make it seem like it's more modern.
That's probably true.
A denoiser equivalent.
Yeah, exactly. But Articuno, one of the 3 legendary birds from Generation 1, the Ice Bird. And, he looks very majestic, a nice long tail.
I like how it says it's a freeze Pokemon, and then on the second line, it's a cruel Pokemon. Why is that the type of Pokemon it is? It's cruel. Does Zapdos have cruel? No, Zapdos is electric Pokemon and strong legs Pokemon. Oh, that's the second type. That's the Galarian. And then, I guess we haven't seen it yet, but the flame Pokemon Moltres and Malevolent. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Zapdos is the least menacing of the bunch. It's just strong legs, whereas Articuno is cruel. The Galarian form, he does look kind of like...
Look at his Galarian form.
He looks like an asshole. Evil. He looks obnoxious. Looks like one of those
I wouldn't want to run into him.
I don't know. He looks kind of blind,
I wouldn't want to meet Galarian Articuno in an alley.
He looks like he's on drugs.
He's just looking at you with judgment.
He's crossing his arms. His wings.
He does have his arms crossed, yeah.
Because, birds can do that, apparently.
Well, this one, that's why he's legendary, because he has the ability to cross his wings.
Oh my God, he's firing his lasers.
Yeah, see, his eyeballs fire lasers like Superman.
Jesus Christ. No wonder he's cruel. So hold on a second. Does that mean the Galarian sound effect is the same? I think that was one of the things we were discussing for Zapdos.
That's one of the things I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I would have to... I guess to be fair, I think I already have the DLC for Sword and Shield. I guess I could find out.
I mean, it doesn't matter that much. I'm just, I guess, giving too much credit to Game Freak.
It's interesting to know, but you're right. You probably are giving too much credit to Game Freak.
Maybe it doesn't even have a sound effect. Maybe they just said, like, screw it, nobody's going to notice. Oh, I like this. So Articuno's, I guess this is the Japanese name. Yeah, so because they say Sanda for Zapdos. But Articuno, the name is Frieza.
Oh.
Isn't that great? It's Frieza.
There you go. I like that.
No wonder it's the cruel Pokemon. Huh? And it's purple. It just looks like Frieza,
Yeah,
too.
and it's purple. It looks like Frieza.
God.
Yeah.
So Game Freak, this is a really subtle nod then. The Galarian form, because that was released after Dragon Ball Z, I guess, right? I don't remember what the timeline was for Pokemon versus Dragon Ball Z, but definitely the Galarian form came after.
Yeah. So there you go. I think the existence of Galarian forms, though, and I guess other forms from the newest game, I guess, kind of fly in the face of Legendary should only have one, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even if you subscribe to, Articuno should be one, the fact that he's got an alternate form means that there are indeed two, at least.
Unless you get rid of one of them. Unless Articuno changes and never changes back.
So it's just the same Articuno? He just flew over to Galar.
Yeah,
and
evolved. Like,
dove into the waters and came out a
Frieza.
purple thing.
Yeah.
It came out as Frieza. Yeah. I guess that's somewhat plausible.
And then the next step is going to be, if they do this, then this will certify what we just said. If they ever come out with some sort of golden form, and then it's going to be Golden Frieza. Huh?
There you go.
That's going to be amazing. That might become my favorite Pokemon.
Wait, is this shiny golden?
Oh, maybe you're right. But if that happens, that might be my favorite Pokemon then, because I do like how Golden Frieza looks.
Oh, he's got different coloring based on the game.
His shiny looks terrible.
His shiny's just blue. So the shiny of normal Articuno is kind of purple.
Very, very subtly, though.
But then the shiny of the Galarian Articuno is blue, the original coloring.
Nah, I prefer the regular Galarian. Because it's supposed to be psychic. Why would the shiny look ice?
Just the callback to the original.
Well, yeah, okay.
Zapdos' Galarian goes back to his original colors.
Oh, okay.
And does Moltres'? Yeah, Moltres' goes back to his original colors. Well, guys, that's it from us. That's the last... Well, I guess you're hearing this in the new year anyways. But
That's right. Happy 2026 to you.
for us, we're at the end of the year. For you guys, it's the beginning of the year. So,
We're reaching out from the past.
ooh, it's so scary back here.
Let us out. Let us out.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye, everybody.